lesson 6-2, topic 6, lesson 2. Today we're going to do some more relating of fractions, decimals, and percents. Now we've done some of that already in the previous lesson, but we're going to hammer it some more. Okay, Teddy's been doing some homework and he's divided his homework time between reading, math, and science. And we have a table here that has some of his data, and we just need to convert to the missing boxes. So for reading, we have a percent. We want to know what that is as a fraction and a decimal. For math, we have 3/5 of our time as a fraction. They're not asking us to find percent and decimal there, but maybe we will anyway. And for science, we have 10/100ths as a decimal. We want to know what that is as a fraction and a percent. So without further ado, 30% is 30 per 100. Just listen to what it sounds like. 30% per 100. I could divide top and bottom by 10, and I get 3/10. As a decimal, 3/10 is 3/10. Or we could also call that 30/100. For science, we have 10/100ths, which is a fraction, is 10/100ths, which is that's 10 per 100, or 10%. Now, 3/5, I could change that to tenths times 2, that's 6 per 10, which is 6/10 for decimal. And so this is also 60/100ths, right? We can multiply top and bottom by 10. Or look at this. I could I could change this. I could just add a 0 at the end, and I get 60/100ths. Easy as that. Either way you slice it, it's 60%. So there you go. Oh, Anna spends 45/100ths. Did you hear how I read that? 45/100ths of her homework time reading. And we want 45/100ths as a percent. Percent per 100, percent per 100. See if you can do that. There are many ways to solve a math problem, and another way you could change a fraction to a percent is through division. So we can get a decimal answer, change our decimal to percent. So let's look at that. 3/5 is 3 divided by 5. And I can go ahead and do that division, and I get 6/10. Well, as we said before, with 6/10, I could just add a 0 on that, and I get 60/100ths. Well, 60/100ths is 60/100ths, or 60 per 100, or 60%. I also could use equivalent ratios. I could say 3/5 is what per 100? Well, that's times 20 times 20, and I get 60/100ths, or 60 per 100, or 60%. Either way, you get the same answer. Okay, let's make it harder. Let's make it harder. Okay, let's make it harder. Teddy's friend Jacob spends 5/8 of his homework time doing math problems, so I want to write 5/8 as a decimal and a percent. So first I'm going to change 5/8 to a decimal. I'm going to do that by recognizing that 5/8 is 5 divided by 8. So I'm going to go ahead and do that division. Now I have this decimal 625. That's 625 thousandths. And I want per 100. So I want it per 100. Well, that's just divide by 10. So I could divide this by 10 pretty easily. All I have to do is move my decimal over, and I get 62 5/10 per 100, or 62 5/10 percent. Just like that. All right, we have a little typo on your sheet there. This should be 3/8. This should be 3/8. And other than that, it's the same. Isabel spends 3/8 of her homework on reading. Her homework time on reading, that is. And what is 3/8 as a decimal and as a percent? So you got to find this in decimal form and percent form. Go ahead and give it a try. We'll talk about it in class. All right, we got some straight up practice here. We have a percent, a decimal, and a fraction. And whatever you see, we want you to put it in the other two forms. Okay, so the first one is in percent, so you need to find that in decimal form and fraction form. This one here is already in decimal form. I want it in fraction form, and I also want it in percent form. And this is a fraction already, so we need it in decimal and percent. Go ahead and calculate those, and we'll check them in class. Have a good one.